All right, Sean Zattel here with my man Bruce Shushu Carrington. Bruce, great night of fights, man. Inoue, what'd you think of the fight? What were your main takeaways from watching him up close tonight?
Man, one Inoue, he is a champion through and through. He can get knocked down and get back up, make the adjustment, and finish the guy that knocks him down. That's something that true champions always show. I also, can see that sometimes he bargains a little bit with his punches, to where you can, catch him and catch him sleeping and whatnot. But you really got to be careful with a guy like Inoue, because he makes the proper adjustments to be able to, steamroll through you after a while. So, but really impressive performance, really impressive adjustments. But I just see certain things that I could take advantage of.
Is it the counter punching more than anything? It looked like, Cardenas able to counter him in between punches with a left hook. Was that one of the main?
Yeah, I felt like, catching him in between Inoue's shots was definitely, probably key for Cardenas, and he just wasn't throwing enough punches. I felt like if he was initiating action more, throwing more jabs, pushing the way back, the moments that he did that, he was being effective. I just didn't think he was doing it. He did it enough.
What allows Inoue to play with fire and get away with it? There was a few counters just off the mark after the knockdown, and he didn't give a damn. What allows him to be effective and get away with that?
That's his discipline. That's that true discipline that he had, because he's like, okay, I got caught with this. I'm not gonna let it happen again. And sometimes guys, once they start winning a fight, they kind of get away from that discipline and like, all right, now I can bargain with it. No. Cardenas was throwing those haymakers throughout the whole fight, just hoping one of them can drop Inoue again. Inoue just didn't give him that chance, so it was very impressive that Inoue made that adjustment and stayed on that adjustment. Great discipline. That's why he's a champion now.
When you say discipline, usually I would think of a guy slowing the pace down and maybe even a little on the conservative side, but he's not doing that. So, it's a different kind of discipline.
Yeah. Discipline doesn't have to just be that. It could just be stick on the game plan. Just be a little more careful, but just do more of something else. It's just, don't get careless. That's all it is. Because in boxing, it's just one shot. I feel like he started off that first round strong. Do what you did in the first round. Just tighten up your defense and use better footwork to get away from those Hail Mary shots.
You've been boxing since you were a little boy.
Yeah.
Where does Inoue rank amongst the guys you've seen up close?
I see in terms of like my weight class, or just
period.
I feel like Inoue is definitely top 3, number 3.
Wow.
Yeah, for sure of guys, because he just knows how to just get guys up out of there, man. He shows it time and time again. Even when he gets dropped, he doesn't get festered and frustrated. He doesn't get like messed up off his game plan. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he sticks to the game plan and shows why he is where he's supposed to be, man. It's very important to show that in the sport of boxing.
Why do you think tonight's fights delivered and Friday, Saturday was like not just bad, but like historically bad, in terms of statistics and everything?
Yeah. I also feel like, in a way that the fighters tonight, they were like kind of like, okay, we need to put on the show, because these last 2 fights was kind of, but the matchmaking was great. The matchmaking was great for these fights tonight. And also, you got to think about the matchups from especially the New York fight. Think about where these guys are in their careers. Devin Haney, he's coming off, a tough fight with Ryan Garcia, been knocked down a couple of times, went through certain things that have been through. He's going to fight very cautious. Ryan Garcia, he hasn't fought in, over a year. That layoff can definitely, be something. You got to kind of take little things into, take account of certain things. And that's why the fight just wasn't, as exciting as it should be. Now with Canelo, Skull, he just wasn't really throwing much. I mean, Canelo wasn't either, but because Skull wasn't in front of him. Now, a lot of fighters can't take something from that and to, learn how to beat Canelo because of the foot movement, but you need to add more offense to them. But I do feel like, Skull was just doing a little bit too much moving around. Like, what you expect from, doing all that? You're not going to win a fight doing that.
You think Crawford was licking his chops at what he saw, though?
100%. And I think Crawford, he sees, like, Canelo's feet is not that fast to be able to cut you off, because he gets a little tired. He's going to sometimes stop chasing you, wait in the middle of the ring, and, look frustrated. He's going to show he might be frustrated. So, yeah, man. Crawford is definitely has a game plan set up for sure.
Rafael Espinoza, man, I asked him yesterday after the weigh-in. I said, you know, Bruce told me that it was you guys who aren't interested. Let Top Rank know you weren't interested. He said, you know, he'll fight you, he'll fight anybody. You know, what's your response?
I mean, I feel like that was a safe answer. Of course, he's going to tell you that, but when it comes to business and, you know, we're sending things out, we get told that he's not interested or his team is not interested. I don't want to put that on him because, you know, I see he's a warrior. I see, you know, he fights his heart out and stuff like that. So I'm not going to put out like that he doesn't want to fight me, but his team for sure does not want to cross past me whatsoever.
If you had it your way, would you rather fight him instead of a vacant title fight against Castro or Ray Vargas? Yeah.
100%. You get more respect from beating a champion, taking a belt from from the guy.
Yeah.
You know, and that's one of the things that, you know, I really live for. I crave a great fight. I crave the action, bro. I want the smoke. And people just, you know, they want to put, you know, these little excuses for this and that for not wanting to fight me and what. I don't give a damn. I could care less. I want to fight the best. I want to fight guys like Espinoza. I want to fight all these people, bro. I want to chop that tree down. Lumberjack shoe.
I'm trying to see that, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to see it too.
Styles makes fights, and you know you're a great counterpuncher, and he's gonna give you plenty of opportunities.
100%. Yo, bro, his style is just like kind of like he's gonna kind of sometimes give me what I want, but also he got little cool movements too. I'm
His
noticing.
skills are getting better.
Yeah, bro, it is. You see the confidence just kind of just growing more and more.
He's hitting
Each and every
angles
fight,
off the
bro.
jab.
Yeah. I wasn't seeing him do that before. That was sweet. So, bro, more and more fights I see him in, the more I want to fight him, bro, because he's just getting better and better, and that makes me want to fight him. It's like when you watch Dragon Ball Z, like Goku, when he sees like this type of dude, like, yo, he's strong. I want to fight him. That's kind of how I am, bro, on the real.
Yeah, I mean, Inoue went Super Saiyan tonight after the
Yeah,
knockdown.
right,
He
yeah,
dropped him. You know
definitely.
when Goku would get beat up in base form?
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
go Super Saiyan.
Exactly.
And that's what.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. And, you know, but in a way, again, he's super impressive. I would love to fight him myself, but, you know, he's not really showing any interest to move to 126. You know, I wish him, you know, the best, you know, in his future. But, you know, if he decides to move up to 126, I'm here, man. Let's make it happen. Let's make the best fights happen.
Well, he seems to have laid out the timeline. Nakatani would be May next year. And
I want to fight Nakatani, man.
Huh? You don't want him to fight Nakatani?
No.
Why, you think Nakatani's going to knock him
I
off?
feel like Nakatani is a really good fighter. He has a good chance of like doing something, man. I want him to come up so I could, you know, the longer I feel like he stays away from, you know, from coming up to 126, and for me to have my chance to, you know, the sooner things might happen. Look, he's gotten dropped in this fight, and then the fight not too long with Neri. You know, the time is ticking now. Time is ticking. So
especially for a fighter that relies a lot on athleticism.
yeah,
too, right?
definitely, man. You know, so I just want my opportunity, bro. I just want my shot.
Do you think you could make the weight? Let's say you move by. Let's say you actually could realistically get the fight by the end of next year. Can you make featherweight that?
100%. I'm comfortable making. Bro, people trying to put out this narrative that I'm out here draining myself and I look like this, look like that. Bro, I made weight. I was on weight 3 days before weigh-ins, my last fight. I'm fine. I'm so good at featherweight, and I can stay here as long as I want to. I'm very comfortable, man. People want to put these things out like I look all sunken up, but think about it. 3 weeks back to back. I so-called look drained. I stopped my guy. Boots so-called look drained. He stopped his guy. Chris Eubank so-called look drained. He beats Conor Ben. Bro, all of these stuff that y'all putting out, y'all just trying to just project that stuff on us. Us fighters, we know what we're capable of. We know what it takes for us to be ready for these fights, and we're gonna take apart any type of, you know, a discussion on us being drained every single time, because we're professionals at this. We do this all the time, bro. We know what it takes.
Thanks, Bruce. Appreciate you, man.